Hey everyone, welcome to the webinar. I'm Andy Winnig and I'm really excited to be on this call today. We're going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't yet, go ahead and post in the chat box what you're most grateful for today. If you don't want to do public chat, you can just click on the little arrow next to my name and choose chat. That'll give you a private chat window, so just I'll see what you're saying. But either through private chat or public chat, go ahead and tell me what you're most grateful for today. Whether you're a solopreneur, sales professional, head of a networking organization, or I see we got a lot of military service people here. Whatever you're doing, you must certainly come face to face with the most dreaded question in all of business networking. You know how it goes. Someone walks up to you, shakes your hand, looks you in the eye, and utters the most terrifying series of words in the English language. What do you do? Hey, it's okay. Plenty of confident and articulate people can barely mumble a coherent answer to this question. I know I struggled with it for years, and it held me back because I'm passionate about what I do. I just couldn't figure out how to express that passion in a way that made other people eager to talk to me. Anyone else here have that experience? So now I teach people how to grow their business through business networking, and grow their careers through business networking. And developing a strong business network means that I can serve a lot more people, connect with a much wider audience, and work less hard to earn more referrals that turn into sales. And that all starts with a conversation. Yep, that's right. Today's free training is all about starting conversations. It doesn't matter what business you're in, if you have an elevator pitch, or have never heard of an elevator pitch, or if you attend 3 networking events a week or 3 networking events a decade, or if you haven't been to a networking event in a while. So I'm going to share a formula for doing this quickly. You can improve your elevator pitch results in days. Today, in fact. And the faster you take action, the faster you'll start generating better leads, doing much less work. So if this sounds exciting to you, go ahead and let me know through the chat box that you're excited and this is what you're looking for. Again, we're going to be working on networking today and starting conversations. So glad to know everyone's excited and in the right place. That's great, excellent. So here are the proven facts. SCORE, maybe some of you have heard of them. These retired business executives volunteer their time to educate and mentor small businesses. So do you think they know a thing or two about growing a business? And someone asked them, does SCORE think that networking can be effective for growing a small business? Well, of course. But the interesting thing about this, they say, of course it is, as long as people get to know you and come to a conclusion about your quality and professionalism. And rely on your quality and professionalism. And what do you think other people would conclude, the other people who meet you, what would they conclude about your quality and professionalism if you aren't prepared to answer the most basic business networking question? Actually, let's turn that around. So what do you think people think of someone who can clearly and concisely say what they do? It's instant trust, right? It's instant stature. So think about it. People who can help with your success are at these networking events. They're there. And their first impression of your professionalism is your elevator pitch. So what does your elevator pitch say about your quality and professionalism? Now, Dr. Ivan Misner, the founder of BNI, I wonder if anyone on the BNI, part of a BNI chapter, BNI is funny because they are so successful that everyone hates them, literally. I mean, even some of their most productive members. And anyone who's starting a networking group, you'll notice this, anyone who's starting a networking group can't wait to tell you how different their group will be from BNI. But I'm here to tell you, if you want to emulate one thing about BNI, make it the tens of thousands of dollars a month in referrals they pass between their members. So whether you love BNI or hate it, Dr. Ivan Misner knows a thing or two about networking. And according to Dr. Misner, what is the secret to getting more business through networking? Well, he says it's time, which is interesting because the number one business networking challenge people tell me they have is, you guessed it, not enough time. And so according to Dr. Misner, people who spend 2 hours a week networking don't get much benefit. But if you spend 6.5 hours a week networking, so that's about 16% of your time if you're only working 40 hours a week, right? So just less than a day a week. And so people who are spending 16% of their time networking generate on average 50% of their business through business networking. Now, of course, it's not just doing we're not talking that you have to attend more events per month or more events per week or anything, right? I mean, there's specific things you can do. And, of course, part of the benefit you get from BNI is learning their approach to elevator pitches, one-on-ones, professional referrals, partnerships, or whatever it is. They have a whole system. And what throws people off, what people find confusing and off-putting about BNI is that it's expensive up front, both from time and money, to get into and learn their system before you start seeing the results. And as I said, today is about learning a new formula for doing this much more quickly and inexpensively. Now, why do we want to learn this? Well, I went out to meetup.com the other day. Meetup is in-person networking. And look what I pulled up. Events start at 6 in the morning, and they go until after 8 o'clock at night. And look at some of these numbers. I mean, you've got 36 people here. You got 61 people. You've got 106 people. Wow, that's a big one. And you got 71 people. Oh, 73 people. I think it looks like a couple of people joined since I made the slide. So that's a lot of people. And if you get to any of these events and get a strong elevator pitch in front of those people, you'll have some leads. So yes, business networking is a very effective strategy, and there are opportunities everywhere. So what holds people back isn't the lack of opportunity. It's that they don't know what to say when asked, what do you do? Okay, I want to share with you a story. We're going to get into the really fun part here, so I'm going to request, before I go into this, go ahead and put your phone down. Most of you are probably holding it in your hand. So flip it over, put it aside. Shut down any other screens on your computer right now. Blow the screen up so it's a full screen. I'm going to share some very interesting information over the next 45 to 60 minutes. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because I've got a lot to share, a lot of slides, a lot of information. And I want to get to as much as I can in a short amount of time. And my request to you is that you stay on and stay committed until the end because I want to make sure you get all this information. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to give away a bonus to someone. So we're in this interactive program, and I want to make sure you get as much out of it as possible. So at the end of the webinar, I'm going to give away a half-hour phone call with me. It's a $250 value just for participating in the chat box and doing great work on your elevator pitch today. So again, at the end of the program, I'm going to pick the person who was the most involved through the chat box, came up with the best pitch and the best questions, and was working with this material the best. So it's not just about posting once, and it's not posting about the weather or what you had for lunch or me too and other people's comments. It's really about improving your elevator pitch using these techniques and templates and coming up with something that's authentically you and that will bring you more leads. So what do all business networking stories start with? I met someone. Well, actually 6 people. See, I went to Laura Restaurant here in downtown Boston a few years ago for a business networking luncheon. I had been a few times to this event and never gotten much out of it. Yeah, it's funny, you have to go down this steep set of stairs underneath Boylston Street. Like this restaurant's actually below street level. And they put us, this group, we put us in a windowless room in the back. And you know how these things go. I make small talk before the meal, then I sit down with a group of random people and make some more small talk during the meal. And then it's time to go around the room and each person gives their elevator pitch. And I don't know how you feel about these kinds of events, but this was painful. And it came my turn, and I gave my pitch, which included a line that I was trying out for the first time. And it went okay. I mean, I was happy with what I'd said. A few people nodded. Nobody nodded off, so that's always a good sign. And the next person took the floor, and I endured the rest of the event. But when the event ended, as I was getting ready to leave the event, I almost got knocked over by the group of people who wanted to talk to me. See, there were only 26 people at this luncheon, and 6 of them took action based on that one new line in my pitch. Over the next 9 months, I did work for all 6 of those people. So the next time someone tells you that business networking takes time, it's true. It took 9 months to do all the work for all those people, and that was based on their schedule, not mine, right? People operate on their own schedule. But it doesn't and shouldn't take any time to get the leads. The lead should be instantaneous. So, I can't guarantee you to get 6 quality leads per event, but I'll share with you in a second how quickly opportunities appear when you use the kind of elevator pitch that we're talking about today. Yes, the faster you take action, the quicker you're going to be able to get the kind of leads you want from the networking events you're already attending. And I'm super pumped to show you how it works. So I'm going to go over the agenda really quickly, then keep diving into this information because I want to share with you guys exactly how to do this in a little bit. So I'm going to go into my story a little bit, how I got into networking. I know I just shared with you a story about a powerful moment, but I'm going to tell you how I got into it. Then I'm going to give you some examples of about 3 or 4 people who are getting better leads from their current networking efforts. Most of them are solo entrepreneurs or business people, so they don't have a lot of time and they need to get as much as they can out of each and every event, people across all different industries. Then we're going to talk about how to get instant leads at your next networking event. So quick show of hands through the chat box. How many people expect to get leads out of every event they attend, and how many actually get leads out of each and every event? So you can put it in the chat box, yes, 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 no, no, no. Do you expect to get leads, and do you actually get leads? So go ahead and let me know in the chat box, what your kind of expectations are. Don't expect. Who else? Let's see what we got here. Yes, yes, great. Yes, yes. Good, no, no, good. Okay, so we got a broad range. Don't expect, yes, great, excellent, excellent. So you may not all get leads, but you'll have time when you do get leads. And some of you obviously already understand the power of networking, and you're already doing extremely well. And that's awesome, and hopefully I can teach you some new stuff so you can do even more and be able to leverage your time even better. So the next part of the agenda I'm going to be sharing with you is the 3-step Instant Leads business networking system. And this is going to be the main content, going over exactly what I do throughout a networking process. And, okay, I mean, there's a lot that goes on with networking. There's a lot that happens behind the scenes and before the event. You have to choose the event. You have to put it in your calendar. You put out directions. You put it in your GPS. You have to, you have to make sure you have business cards, make sure you eat beforehand, and then you have to fight traffic and look for a parking spot. And then you're finally at the event. And at the event is where you're starting conversations and meeting people, kind of starting that whole process. And then there's the third part, which is the follow-up process, which is where people make all the sales, like all the good things happen on follow-up, because you don't ever really close anything at an event. So you have to have a really solid system for follow-up. So there are really 3 parts to being an effective networker. And on this webinar today, I'm going to be sharing with you the middle part, really what to say to start conversations, to start the right kinds of conversations with the right kind of people at the event. And then at the very end of this training, I'll be showing you how you can take advantage of a whole package. We've got an advanced training for those who are interested in signing up, really how to make the most out of networking. So you can take what I give you now and apply it, and that'll definitely make you better at what you're doing. You can get the whole thing with the advanced training. So we'll be talking about that, how to really take everything to the next level. Then I'll do a Q&A at the end for 15 minutes. We'll go over questions. A bunch of you sent in a lot of great questions before the webinar even started, so I'll definitely be talking about those. And, anything else that comes up, feel free to type it into the chat box at any time. And, and anything I don't get to, you can obviously always email me later. But, I'll answer as many questions as I can during the 15 minutes we have at the end. Then we'll do the bonus giveaway. Remember, I'm giving away that free half-hour call with me. It's great if you're starting with your elevator pitch, you have a question about networking, or or starting a new thing, or just whatever question you have. So go ahead and take good notes and share your work in the chat box, and I'll wait until the very end so we can get the most interaction possible. So keep chatting about the content of this webinar, because if you only have one chat, then you definitely won't be chosen. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So let's get started. Ready? Here we go. So the first part of the agenda, a little bit about me. I'm going to fly through this pretty quickly because I want to get to the content here in a second. But for those who don't know me, I want to talk about this for a quick second, a little bit about me. So back in 2001, I was living the dream. I was being paid 6 figures a year. I had plenty of stock options at a web startup called Informio. Yes, I'm a software engineer by training, managing teams of software engineers. I was being paid to develop highly reliable telephony software systems that could handle thousands of simultaneous callers in every major city across the country. I was on the fast track to becoming a VP of engineering when one day, 13 years ago, it all came crumbling down, literally. 2 planes flew into the Twin Towers in New York. IT spending dried up. Our venture capitalists pulled back their money. And on January 1st, 2002, I was unemployed for the first time in my 15-year computer career. And there were no computer jobs. And I had a very strong motivation for finding a way to make money. I did not want to have to move back in with my parents. So I started looking for a new career. And for long story short, I bought in a franchise called Fish Window Cleaning. This is me, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, in May of 2002 when I started my window cleaning business. And I spent the next year and a half doing everything: cleaning, selling, hiring, payroll, collections. I was the original man with many hats. Then one day, I meet this guy named Tom Vance. Tom was the membership director at the Cambridge Chamber of Commerce. The day I walked in to sell them window cleaning, I walked out with a chamber membership and a new customer. And as we cleaned the chamber windows that first time, Tom approached me about a new idea he had to start up networking groups under the umbrella of the chamber. So I spent the next 3 years working closely with Tom on networking groups, coming up with ideas, trying them out, keeping what worked, talking in front of networking groups, mastering the whole process, this process of developing relationships that lead to sales. And one day, this was back in 2005, I introduced the guy who was running my window cleaning business for me to my networking group and started networking on my own for my other business, Improv Andy. And so, I mean, I know that networking works, but the thing is, it's easy to overlook just how well it's working. I realized relatively recently that the group of people I met 8 years ago through Tom Vance's group, that group of people account for over $75,000 in sales in my window cleaning business each year. And I'm not saying that networking is the only reason the business will top $750,000 in revenue this year, but it's super easy to close those leads that come in from the networking group, right? Those are really easy sales to make. And here's the real kicker. So earlier this year, I got a call from a woman I met over 3 years ago through the Improv Andy for my speaking business, and she had joined a new networking group and wanted me to come speak to her group. There was no one else in the running. I named my price and did the job. And that job led to another job and another and another. You know, business networking is a great way to grow a business and to grow your career. And I realized too that other people are prospecting for me. You know, it's really freeing when you don't have to make all the contacts. People start bringing you leads. And as I said, those are the easiest leads to close. So I'm an engineer turned entrepreneur. I don't clean windows anymore. I spend 5 to 7 hours a week on my window cleaning business. And the rest of the time I coach, you know, other business professionals. I give presentations. I develop training programs, all helping people get better at their business networking. So I've been a finalist for Small Business of the Year and Franchisee of the Year. I've won sales awards and inspiration awards and been on radio and TV. I've even hosted a few shows. But here's the thing I get most excited about, what networking has done for me. It gives me the freedom to do what I want, to not just talk about it. And this fills me up energetically. I mean, I spent 3 full weeks at the beach this summer with my family, which doesn't include our Disney World vacation back in April, the trip we took to Storyland in September. And I play basketball in a local league and go downhill skiing as often as I can. And this really fills me up, you know, getting the opportunity to know that my business is in place and running in the background and passive income. And networking supports that. And I can play the piano and travel and do what I want with my family. It's a very powerful experience. You know, I don't know if anyone on the call, those people who, you know, want to run their business, you know, want to do this, you know, not work 15 to 20 hours a day, work really hard, but instead set up the systems and leverage the tools that save you time. And really that's what networking has done for me. And, you know, I stumbled across it by accident. I had this opportunity to join a networking group and I ran with it, but it allows me to do everything else that I want to do. And I feel so blessed and so grateful every day. I don't take any of this for granted. So enough about my story. Probably went a little too long, but I want to give people a little example about who I am and what I've created. So, you know, I'm a guy I had no business or sales experience. I'm an engineer by training, got laid off. And if I can do this stuff and chase my dreams, then everyone here is extremely intelligent. You've got the experience. You've got the drive. I know you can all do this equally well, if not better. So just have to have the right system. You have to take the right action. So my goal is to share the system with you right now. So here's the thing about networking. I took a couple of screenshots from emails over the past couple of day period. You know, the Chamber of Commerce is doing something with Google. There's a dinner meeting and a breakfast of champions for the Society of Professional Consultants. Some of you may have heard of them. There's this Mass Innovation Night. That sounds like it's right up my alley. And there's even a save the date for an event in March already. I mean, these are all sent within a few days, right? I get networking requests constantly, and some of you may as well. And so can anyone tell me why so many people are networking? Let's just get an idea. Go ahead and type through the chat box now. Like, why do you think there's so many networking events? Why are there so many opportunities to go out and do networking? Yep, got a couple of folks coming in through the private chat box and saying it's working. Yep, because it works. Yep, that's true. That's true. Anyone else? The networking is effective. Yep, great. Most jobs are gotten through networking. That's absolutely true. Yes, networking is, people have realized that it's not about sending resumes off anymore. It's about getting out and knowing people. I'll tell a story in a minute about a great job networking story. The internet makes it easy. Great. Yep, face-to-face interaction. Great. Right. It works. Networking works. This is why people continue to do it and why they haven't gone out of style. So, and even for people who aren't very good at it, you know, it even works if people don't really know what they're doing. And, you know, I get so frustrated when I see people not being successful because just a little tweaking. If you do just a little tweaking, business networking can bring you lots of qualified leads. So I'm going to share some case studies with you in just a second of people who had been networking and were doing okay, but now that they cleaned up their elevator pitch, they have more leads than they can handle, you know, and that's why this is a perfect time for people to jump in and start networking effectively. You know, I'm not talking about 6 months from now. I'm talking like the networking event you're planning on attend in a few days, right? You know the one I mean. Some of you told me you got networking events coming up. So just go and apply what you're learning from today. You know, these tactics work and they generate profits. It's that simple, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And it may seem scary, but it doesn't have to be. So I'm going to share with you some 3 case studies of just average, ordinary people who are creating really cool results with networking. I'll go through this pretty quickly because I want to get to the content. But these are some examples. So Jack's a buddy of mine who I met years ago through a few different networking connections. His dad is a master relationships builder. This great guy. He uses a real Rolodex, you know, back when people still used those, but he's still got his. And, you know, Jack has all the sales experience, but his networking results aren't that impressive. And so I finally convinced him to sit down for my 2-hour elevator pitch complete coaching program. He tried out his new pitch later that week, and here's what he had to say. He said, I gave my new 30-second elevator pitch at a networking event the other night, and 2 people approached me afterwards to invite me to do a presentation for their company. Thanks for your help. So this is a guy who had tons of sales experience, but now he's getting people who are actually kind of understand what he does and want him to do it. The next one is Anne. Anne is one of these. It's one of the most difficult to differentiate industries. Website design. I mean, how many website designers are out there running around? But she took me up on a coaching offer from one of my keynote speeches, and we worked out a new pitch for her. And what she had to say, I find really exciting because one of the top questions I get is, how do I find better events? How do I figure out which events to go to? And Anne proved that there really are no bad events. She just said, I was at a networking event the other night. It wasn't a great event, but I was sitting next to a business coach who now wants to meet with me to learn how I can help her clients. Then I was talking to someone in the hall who knows someone who's a perfect referral for me. It works. And I find this really exciting because I'm not sure why she thought that wasn't a great event. If you get 2, 3 legitimate leads out of an event, that's a great event. And and again, this is just from changing how she talks about what she does. So let's go on. Let's talk about Craig for a minute. Craig's an even tougher industry, actually, insurance. I mean, how many people do you see running around, and how do you differentiate that? And Craig is interesting because he's been around for a while. I mean, he's founded a couple of very successful companies. He's been selling and networking. He's been doing this for years. They've been very successful, which meant that I was even more surprised when he told me about the benefits. He said, in my 31 years in business, I've had maybe 2 people ask a clarifying question after hearing my old elevator pitch. Since working with you, I have tripled that number in less than a week. So, here's a guy who's been being relatively successful in his career, but he was never starting any conversations. Like nothing he was saying caused anyone to interact with him. And by just tweaking what he said just a little bit, he just started getting flooded with ideas. So he had no idea that he was supposed to start conversations and no idea that that was the whole point of networking. And then Liz is probably my favorite story. When I met her 3 years ago, she was an introvert and director of a biotech firm. She's now a CEO. And in those 3 short years, she's built up her network so that she now gets job offers every week. That's right, and she's very happy with what she's doing, right? She's not looking for a job. She's very happy with what she's doing right now. But when she sits down to lunch with people in her network, and they let her know that if she's ever looking, they want to be her first call. So imagine having that kind of job security. 12 people asking you to call them first if you're ever in the market for a job. And that's the kind of value you get when you do this kind of thing. That's the value of having a network. You've got people who are sending you opportunities all the time. So would anyone here just go ahead and say in the comment box if you want to be one of these success stories, in the future start expanding your network so opportunities just fall into your lap. If you're interested in that type of game, that type of business, and being a success story, just go ahead and let me know. Let me know in the chat box that that's the case. And just let me know. Yes, of course. Good, great. Glad to see you're all fired up. I'm so pumped up that you're engaged in doing this. Great, well, wonderful. So hopefully you're taking notes, and a bunch of you interacting in the chat box and getting more because it's coming up. We're coming to that part of the program, and we'll do that giveaway again towards the end. But let's get into the next part of the content. Where it's promised how to get instant leads or how to get leads from your elevator pitch. So when you talk about the elevator pitch, this is the real use of the elevator, the fist pump when you close the deal, right? You leave the office with their check in your hand, with a signed offer in your hand. You get into an empty elevator, wait until the door's closed, then give that fist pump. It's a crazy, awesome feeling, but it's really bad karma to celebrate in front of your newest client or employer. So here's the formula. This is the really fun part and so you can really start to gauge how much sales, how many opportunities you're going to have because you know the averages and you know the numbers. So I'm going to give you the averages. If you already have events to attend, and I'm assuming most of you have some attendance you're attending. And so again, I don't say that when you go to your first networking event, this is definitely what will happen. Though this is what I've seen happen for a lot of people around these averages. And some are better, some are worse, but these are about the average. So let's assume you're going to an event with about 40 people. So, it may have 15, it may have 150, but whatever it is, I'm going to say it has about 40. So when your elevator pitch has a strong call to action, which is something I talk more about in the advanced training, you can expect about 7% of people to approach you with a legitimate lead. Either they want to talk to you or they want you to talk to someone they know. So that's 3 people who are prospects. And also in the advanced training, I'll show you how to pick 3 non-prospects to follow up with. When you have a one-on-one with them, that's a lot of process of networking. You want to network with non-prospects. So if you're networking with prospects, that's called sales. So when you're networking, you're talking to non-prospects. You have a one-on-one with them. You expect that between 2 or 3 of them, you'll get 3 more prospects to talk to. So that's 6 prospects in total. And there's kind of a standard sales average. Again, some are a little higher, some are a little lower, but people tend to close about 16.7% of what they do. And again, that's not on the spot. That's after following up and running through your process. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, what's the price of your product? Is it $500? If you're out working, are you making $80,000 a year, $120,000 a year? What are you doing? So when you're using the skills you learn here, you will make a sale from each event. It doesn't happen on the event floor, but over time you will get one. And it's probably someone who knew someone who knew someone. It won't be someone you met at the event, but they introduce you to someone, introduce you to someone else, and you'll find that over time it happens. So the really interesting question is, what's the lifetime value of that customer? Because they'll buy other products and services from you. They'll refer you to other clients. So, is it $10,000? Is it $100,000? Is it even more? Right? So it's pretty cool. You can kind of figure out the math once you know how many events you attend and how many people are at each one. And that's the fun part, figuring out, okay, cool. Then I just need to find the right events, which I teach in the advanced training as well, how to create more opportunities to talk to people, how to become a better network, deliver more value, support people in solving their problems so you can show them that you have a solution to their problem. And it can be in the form of a service, a product, a coaching, or your skills, the work that you want to do for a company, whatever it may be. And once you have the leads, you're in your wheelhouse, right? I mean, if someone says, hey, I'm interested in learning more about you, let's talk about it. I mean, if someone sits down with you, if you actually go to an interview where someone's excited to talk to you, you go to a sales meeting where someone's excited to talk to you, most people I know expect to close more than 1 in 6 of those, right? And so that's really what we're talking about. The great part of business networking is you develop the relationship, takes time, but the person you meet today may close in a month or 3 or 9, which is why it's important to follow the system and keep meeting people. So let's go to the next part of the presentation. A lot of good, juicy stuff, and make sure you're taking notes. And let's talk about the 3-step instant leads networking system. All right. This is it. This is good stuff. I'm going to give you the formula right now. And I urge you to take down notes and type your thoughts into the chat box. This is really where we're going to roll up our sleeves and do the work. I'm going to go fly through this quickly. I'm actually going to take a quick sip of water because I'm going to fly through this. Just a second. Okay, ready, everyone, for the formula. The 3 steps apply to the only 3 questions you'll ever be asked at a networking event. And the 3 questions, the 3 answers you have actually flow naturally together as you start a conversation. So I'm going to help you develop an answer to each one, then show you how it all ties together. The 3 questions are, how's it going, what do you do, and how do you do that? So let's start with, how's it going? And I call this question the biggest missed opportunity in all of networking, because this technique alone will give you more than 5 conversations a day. And before you panic, and I can hear you all panicking, even though the phones are muted, I can hear you panicking, I'm not asking you to knock on more doors or do more phone dials, right? I mean, it's such a standard, make more phone calls. That's not actually true, right? I mean, I find with business networking, more business networking gives you about the same results that you're already getting. And this opportunity is much more powerful because it already exists in your daily routine. And most people just walk right through it, walk right past it. What does it look like? Someone comes up to you, a friend, an acquaintance, a stranger, an enemy. They say, how's it going? And, right, it's a little scary, right, Nicky? Thank you, yeah. And so what do most people say? They say, fine, same old, just trying to get by. This is an opportunity to start a conversation. It's the biggest missed opportunity in all of networking. So from now on, anytime you're asked, how's it going, I'd like to encourage you to just share an example of something that's going extremely well. So here's the template. Awesome, and something awesome that you just did. So what are some examples? Okay, how are things going, Andy? Awesome. I just shared a powerful technique for starting conversations. And the first thing, great, thank you, yes, wonderful, that's awesome. And, feel free to tweet that out, that's a great thing to send. So, and I will say that some people look at that and say, awesome, really, Andy, like, did you grow up in the 80s? What's going on with awesome? And yes, I did grow up in the 80s. If you don't like awesome, that's fine. Use great, fantastic, incredible, better than ever, fair at the middle, and whatever, any positive, upbeat superlative. So the next example I want to give you, and then, we'll get to working on your own in just a second here. How's it going? Fantastic. I just hit the game-winning home run for my softball team. And, people say, well, why would you, this is business, right? Why would you be talking about a hobby, or why would you be talking about personal? And, I'll be the first to admit that some personal stories have no business in any sort of business situation. But remember, the goal is starting a conversation, and you do that by finding common ground. So if the person in front of you also plays softball, or just got back from vacation at Disney World, or also loves planting hydrangeas, now you have something to talk about, and the rest of the things flow from that as well. And while such a conversation might seem like a waste of time, you'll see later in the program that's lays the groundwork. And, Shane, thanks for that. You're in Boston. It should be wicked awesome. Yeah, how are things? Wicked awesome. I may start with that. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. Good comment. So let me give you one more example, then I'll let you work on your own. So how's it going? This is one of my clients who's a mortgage broker. Amazing. I just helped a young couple purchase their very first home. And when you're thinking about this, the thing I'm going to encourage you to be is to be very, very specific. And the concern people had, the concern that my mortgage broker friend had was, but I don't just help young couples, right? I'm going to help older couples. I'll do refis. I'll do cash outs, like whatever it is. And the cool thing is that what everyone's looking for is the elevator pitch that qualifies people. How do you give an elevator pitch that is right for them? And when you're very specific, what this mortgage broker found is when she talked about young couples, she got questions back. The questions people asked were, young couples, but do you also handle refis? Sure. Someone who's looking to refinance. Hey, would you work with a baby boomer? Sure. Someone who's in the market for a house? Or maybe they won't say anything, which means you won't be connecting with them today, and you can move on to find someone else to start a conversation. And that's the key piece, too, that the conversation doesn't always start. What we're looking to do is find conversation pieces to get you into the right kinds of conversations with the right kind of people. So those specifics start those kinds of conversations. So go ahead and pull out a blank piece of paper, or just take the paper you're taking notes on, and I'm gonna have you practice this. So awesome! I just did something awesome. So I'm going to be quiet now for about 30 seconds. Write down your how's it going response. And again, if you're interested in that coaching, go ahead and share what you've got through the chat box. I'll do some coaching here, and again, it opens you up for getting on later on. So I'll be quiet for a couple of seconds as you get things to do, and here we go. Oh, great, you guys are moving fast. Great. Faz, I wanted to absolutely the construction management project. Great. And Nikki, I would encourage you to talk about what kind of construction you're building, houses, buildings, playgrounds. Construction's a little bit thing. So again, I'd be more. Larry, your examples are something that just happened. Yes, Larry, it is okay for it to be a while. So his question is it okay for it to be a while ago? Yes. I wouldn't say that it happened a while ago. You can, even something that happened a year ago is relatively recent in these worlds. So, awesome. I just switched to choir performance of middle school students. Great, Chris. That's awesome. That is awesome. Awesome. I helped a couple going through a difficult divorce to resolve their custodial issue. Carrie, wonderful. And see how much we already know about what Carrie does from just that quick thing, right? She doesn't mention what she does, but from that we know exactly what's going on. I just helped the business find out why they're losing market share. Excellent. And Andrew, you could even, great name by the way, Andrew. You could even tell me why they're losing market share. Because it's interesting, that kind of specific. If you're specific about why they're losing market share, maybe they lost a bunch of employees, maybe there's a competitor coming in, but any kind of specific around that will help people see themselves being helped by you. Matt, awesome. I just taught a room full of kids how to create and shoot their own movie. Well, that's a cool hobby. Awesome. Matt, that's great. Awesome. I just reserved a honeymoon for a couple to Thailand. Great. Again, this is a good example for Cindy. Like, Cindy, whatever you've been saying for your elevator pitch, I'm sure this is much better, right? I mean, you say you're a travel agent, but a honeymoon to Thailand, that sounds cool. So great. Chris, I also am coaching students to solve unique challenges. Okay, so Chris, this is an example. What are the challenges? Name the challenges, right? You call it a unique challenge, that doesn't help me. But if you're helping students get, if you're helping disadvantaged students get jobs, or if you're helping, really smart students get into advanced programs, whatever it is that you're doing, be more specific. Ron, I just shared a counseling tool with a suicidal teen. Wow, you're doing great work. Wonderful. I'm getting chills. You guys are doing such great work. Awesome. I just attended an awesome webinar on networking. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback. Yep, that's opportunity the new construction manager project for the neighborhood YMCA. Nikki, perfect. Perfect, because the YMCA helps set for me what you're looking for, right? That helps me decide what's a good lead for you. And so I think mentioning the YMCA is perfect. Shane, awesome, making some great progress in building software to make airline maintenance safer. Yes, wonderful. God, you're almost making engineering sexy there, right? Making airlines safer. How could I be against that? That's wonderful. Yeah, and there you go, Matt and Ron. You're working with similar kinds of kids. Okay, wonderful, good. Okay, so yeah, keep typing those in if you want. I think you're getting the idea. You guys are doing great. You're really participating. That's wonderful. So so that's step one, and realize this isn't even considered networking. What you've got now, just answering this question gives you a really unfair advantage because people don't know that they're networking yet. They haven't tightened up yet, right, about the networking because you're just talking. And so this really gives you an awesome opportunity. And again, you'll see from some of the people that came through, this little clip here tells you more about what they do than any sort of other elevator pitch they may have been talking about. So if you can start a conversation around a question like this, you're ahead of 98% of the people out there. Again, you start conversations before anyone else knows that they've even started networking. You have to talk to them before they even get a chance to put up their, to get nervous about the networking. And it's a question to some of the people who said they're nervous about this, right? This kind of thing, once you get used to this, once you have this technique, once you can answer this question in a way that engages people, it's great. And again, you won't engage everyone. Like part of the thing people have to learn, especially introverts, is that if you have a room full of 30 or 40 people, if you start a conversation with a handful of them, like 3 to 5 people, that's great. Most people, you'll say something, it won't work, you shake their hand, very nice to meet you, I'm going to keep networking. Just keep going around saying stuff until you find someone who has some common ground that you can talk to. That's the key. So that's the first question. So let's move on to the second question. It is the most dreaded question in all of business networking. What do you do? And this one's easy, as long as you avoid the temptation to cram your years of experience into some 30-second soundbite. What you want is 7 to 10 words to get them to respond. I'll say that again. If you get nothing else out of this training today, I'll say it again. You want 7 to 10 words to get them to respond, because it's like a headline. And again, we're starting conversations, and so if they don't respond, the goal is to get them to respond, because then you're in a conversation. It's much more natural, much more engaging. Here's the template. I help a group of people take an action. So again, I'd like to give you some examples of folks that I've worked with. I help mothers empower their teenagers. And it's the same technique we talked about before. Specific start to conversations. This client gets questions like, well, could you work with my mother? Do you ever work with men? I'm looking to empower my employees. Does that count? And, of course, this coach will do all of those things, right? She'll coach on pretty much anything, and her techniques work everywhere. But if you tell someone your techniques work everywhere, it's not as effective as saying, I help mothers empower their teenagers, and then let other people kind of reflect back to you what they're looking for. So, again, the next time you get a question like that back from your elevator pitch, congratulate yourself. That's a good time for a pat on the back. Remember my buddy Craig, he got 2 questions in 31 years. And now he's getting 6 questions a week. A lot more conversation, a lot more conversations, a lot more opportunities. That's success. So details start the conversations. And how do you decide which details? Well, let's give another example. Some leadership training. A lot of leadership trainers. Yep, I'll repeat the formula in just a second. So I help employees select, hire, and manage the right people for the right jobs. And the cool thing about this is that you're putting in people's head the right time to call you. Right? I had some great questions before the webinar of how do I be more memorable? And in fact, the person asked me, I think, was a business consultant. I don't know if you're on the call, but he was like, I want people to remember that I'm a business consultant. And what I'll say is they won't remember that you're a business consultant. But if you tell them that you help employers select, hire, and manage the right people for the right jobs, they will think of you the next time that they're looking to expand their staff. So once again, I'll go quiet for about 30 seconds. I'll go back. I had a question for the formula, so I'll go back to the formula. So I help a group of people take an action. I'll go quiet for about 30 seconds and write down again what this means for your business or job search. And then again, we'll do some live coaching, and anything you're adding, we'll put you in the running for that coaching at the end. So again, I'll go quiet for about 30 seconds, and then we'll coach on this quickly, and then move on to the third question. Wow, you guys are really on this. Good. All right, I'll just start giving some feedback. So, Dorothy, I help a group of people to visualize and book their dream vacation. See, Dorothy, I'd actually go back to what you said earlier. I help couples plan their honeymoon. I help couples plan their honeymoon trips. And again, if that'll seem like it's way too specific, but that'll get you into the conversation. Oh, what are some cool honeymoon trips? Maybe somebody's been married for a while wants a cool honeymoon trip. That could be the kind of thing. So again, I don't like to visualize and book. I'd like to kind of name it. I help people plan their honeymoons. I help people. Shane, I think you nailed it, buddy. I build software to help airlines efficiently manage their aircraft maintenance. Yeah, that's great. I would encourage you to try. I just encourage you to start using that. Next time someone asks you what you do, I'd just ask you. Andrew, I started to help businesses succeed. Yes, that's way too vague. You're doing a great. So that's exactly the thing you want to be thinking in your head. Right? Help businesses succeed. What does it look like for the business to succeed? What does it look like for the business to succeed? Because everyone's increasing profits. I mean, that's not really interesting. So I'd encourage you to be a little more specific about that. Matt, I help middle schoolers get creative with the tech they already have. Again, Matt, I'd like some sort of example. Do they use their computer to take care of the class pet, or what is the technology? What is the technology, and what is the creative use of it? Help time-starved professionals do what they do best. And Nikki, again, I think it's a little bit vague. I like the time-starved professionals, but I'd want spend more time with their clients, or spend more time with their families, or what is it that they're doing with their extra time a little more specifically. I help banks implement awesome software. So Lisa, I help banks implement awesome software that helps with something. So yes, but I would give a little more, like what's the software it's doing for the bank. I help companies develop new products. So David, I help companies develop new products and figure out the best way to make them. Yeah, again, David, what kinds of products? You're doing food products? I mean, I've worked with you, so I know what you are, but kind of, is it food products? Is it, is it building? Buildings can be products. Everyone talks about a product. So, it's good if you can give some examples. I help people enjoy public speaking. Anna, I think that's great. That's a good one. I would encourage you to use that. I like that one a lot. I work with a lot of speaking coaches, and I've never heard anyone use that one. So I think that's a good one. Cindy, I help families plan their dream vacations. Great. Specialize on the families. That's good. Chris, help government agencies develop foreign policy and collaborate with foreign governments. Chris, that's really interesting because that one, it's a little bit vague, but I think it's vague in a good way. I don't really know what foreign policy means, but the folks who do know will. And the fact that, foreign policy and collaborating with foreign governments, wow, you're doing some great work. And I know. I think what you've done is actually good, Chris. I think you're on the path to that. Chris asked, I find it difficult as a military professional to state what we do, but I think helping government agencies develop foreign policy and collaborate with foreign governments is a pretty good description. I think that's great. Carrie, I mediate and negotiate agreements between parties going through a divorce. Great, Carrie. I would use that. I think that's a great one. Chris, definitely makes me want to know. Yeah, right, Shane, thanks. That's the thing, right? I mean, the stuff we're coming up with, it's great. Andrew, help businesses succeed with improved solutions through technology. Right, Andrew, you're kind of circling around it. I want you to dive right into it. What kind of solutions? I need a specific example. I help implement software to move money around the world. Lisa, that is very interesting. Yeah, that actually makes me want to learn more. So I think that's a good one. So I teach kids to shoot movies with their cell phones. Matt, wonderful. Oh, hey, you guys are doing some really cool things out there. And Chris, yeah, you know what? Oh my goodness, people are connecting. People are already connecting on this call, right? And that's exactly. That's what we're talking about. This is the connections. And Nikki, that's if you've got something, go ahead, and I can deal with some of this through question. I want to move on a little bit because I want to make sure I get through everything. But you guys are doing exactly the right kind of thing. And again, there's plenty of opportunity to work on this more and all that. So remember here that the goal is to start a conversation, and you can't start a conversation if you're doing all the talking. And so I encourage you, and a lot of this is about seeing how people respond. So the things you've come up with here, take good notes on what you've worked on and start trying them out. And again, if any of you at any time, use something you used on the webinar, you say it to someone, the response isn't quite what you're expecting, you're not sure, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to, it's really quick to tweak this kind of stuff. So just go ahead and shoot me an email if you ever got a question like that. And so use these 7 words, wait for a response, and see what sort of question you get. So we've looked at 2 of the 3 questions, how's it going and what do you do? The third question is, how do you do that? And this is what takes us from the conversational elevator pitch, right? We're talking right now about kind of starting conversations one-on-one, and this takes us into the key component of your 30-second elevator pitch, what I call the success story. So right now what I'd like you to think about is a recent success. So it's either a project success or a job success, some sort of project or work that you did recently that's a success. And we're going to put this in the following format. So a business approached me through referral for a reason. And so if I were doing this for my business, a business lawyer approached me at a networking event because he wanted help with his elevator pitch, right? Something just that simple. And again, we're talking specifics here. So a business lawyer approached me at a networking event because he wanted help with his elevator pitch. We rolled out a project which addressed their challenge, and they get a benefit. Are there other people having that problem with the audio? The audio should be coming through. It's back now. So can people hear me? So can people hear me now? Am I back now, folks? Yes. Okay. Good. Sorry about that. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for you on it. So how do you do that? So we're talking a business approached me through referral for a reason. So in my case, a business lawyer approached me at a networking event because he wanted help with his elevator pitch. We rolled out a project which addressed their challenge, and now they get a benefit. So in my case, after going through my 2-hour elevator pitch complete coaching program, he's excited and confident about what he says, and he generates enough leads that he no longer needs to do any cold calling. And so I'll give you another quick example from my mortgage broker client. Let me give you an example of a recent client success. I was working with a young couple who was pretty sure they weren't going to be able to afford a new home in the town they wanted. After going through my comprehensive process, we found several homes and qualified them for a first-time buyer discount that made the home much more affordable than they expected. I'm happy to report that they moved in last month. And so that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. And so this is where we start. And so what I want to do is give you about 30 seconds to work on this, to start thinking about your client success in these terms. If you've got something, go ahead and type it in, but I want to make sure we move through the rest of the program. So if you got one, type it into the chat box. If you have particular questions, type it in. We may get to those during the Q&A. And again, if you want to work more on this in a minute, I'll be telling you about the program that I have that covers all of it. So again, I'm going to be quiet for about 30 seconds. I'm going to let you think about putting what you do into this style. Put your success story into this way. All right, good. So I don't want to spend too much time on this right now, but I want you to start thinking. If you start thinking along these lines, that'll really put you going in the right direction. So I want to ask you a really important question. So go ahead and put your pen down, leave it in front of you. I'm going to ask you to type something in the question box. So I know you're scribbling lots of notes, and that's great. My question for you, and let's practice what we're learning here. My question for you is, how's it going? That's right. Get me excited about the kind of stuff that you're doing. So go ahead and type into the chat box, how's it going for you right now? I got to get some private chats coming in. You can feel free to feel free to send them to the public as well. Um, great, living the dream. Great, living the dream. That's a great one. Good. Yep. That's what it is. The Larry, great. I'll come back and take a look at that stuff a little. I help people plan dream vacations. Great. Awesome. I just completed my PMP certification course. Great. Excellent. Oh, you guys are doing such a good job on this. Such a good job on this. So I want to ask you now. So one more question. So given that you've got these new skills and you can start getting better results from networking, what is it you do with the time that you free up? What is it that right now you're working and trying to get this stuff done, but what is it that you would do if you had extra time? What kinds of things do people? For me it's playing the piano and that kind of stuff, but what is it the people on the call are really looking to do with more free time? Like how would this stuff get you to more free time? Great. Again, some private chats are coming through. Start another business. Great. Obviously, retire and learn more new things. Great. Yep. The private chat. I got people who want to take vacations. We got some people on the call I think could help with that. Planning cool vacations. A lot of great ways to getting that stuff tied together. So good. So it sounds. You see your grandchildren, wonderful. So it sounds like there's a lot of cool things you want to do with your time. And again, that's what I was able to do once I created this process for myself, and I had free time. Play the piano, skiing, writing books, spending time with my family, and people want to find the time, which is true. And again, what I teach in the training here in a second is how to get better results from what you're already doing, even if you don't think you're doing that much. Remember, there are 5 more conversations you can have a day just within your current environment. So even if you don't think you're networking, this is still something for you. So it's time to move on to the next part of the agenda and talk about accelerating your networking success. And I'm very excited to share this with you. It's something I've been very proud of building and creating and helping a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners. They leverage networking using this exact same product, this advanced training and this formula, how to do it yourself. And so I'm very excited to introduce the Elevator Pitch Home Study Course. And this is the most favorite thing I've created because it's helped so many people, like I've shared with you today, get better leads and make lots more sales in their business and find the kind of jobs that they want. So I want to go through quickly exactly what's involved in this advanced training and show you how you can take action on getting it right now. It's a number of core video modules inside the members area where you get instant access. Once you sign up, you get immediate access to all the core video modules. So this is just kind of a screenshot of all the different tools and everything that's involved. There's core modules and bonus modules. I want to tell you about the importance of each one of these really quickly. We'll reach one in a second. And there are worksheets and PDFs, and they ask you very detailed questions for each module. And you fill them out completely as you go through the training, right? It's more the kind of stuff we've been talking about today, because that's how you know what to say and do in any networking situation. So training number 1 is all about starting conversations. If you don't like talking to people, or if you're shy in a networking situation, this is exactly what you're looking for. It's a more in-depth version of what we've been doing today. Once you know a few key phrases and questions to start the conversation, it's very simple to keep it moving and go on to the next level. And it also helps you describe what you do. It's not nearly as complicated as everyone tries to make it. We already saw today people making a lot of progress on saying their things much more clearly so people really understand what they are and how to get to that. Training number 2 is the vital networking process. So many people fail and make a lot of mistakes thinking they can just show up at an event and get results. And in this training, I'll show you which events to attend, the best way to use your time at the event, how business cards are supposed to be used, what are you supposed to do with all those business cards you collect, how to get out of awkward conversations, how to figure out who's wasting your time, who's a really good connection for you. This module actually contains the business networking strategy worksheet, and it's so crucial to making the most effective use of this time. Just by bringing this sheet to an event and filling it out, you're already ahead of so many people. So I go through, and it's all a very powerful training module, too. Training module number 3 is the 30-second elevator pitch. This is really the kicker, because if you can't engage a room full of people all at once, it's a lot slower making connections and sales. And so in this module, I teach you how to market yourself to a room full of people. Whether you attend chamber events or BNI meetings or meet-up luncheons, I'll show you how to do it. And if you've been using an elevator pitch for years, we'll show you how to make it more productive. If you're just getting started, we take you step by step through it from scratch, through the 3 steps of creating an elevator pitch. So if you're not sure what to say when you're standing in front of the room, or you feel uncomfortable standing in front of the room, or feel uncomfortable presenting, this is really the module that you'll love. You know, it's the way to get people to run up and give you leads. It's the process that I used for myself in the story I told earlier, and the process that my clients use when they get people coming up for them. So you know, you're not going to get really great results unless you know how to do this. So those are the 3 core modules. It also includes 3 bonus modules. Bonus video number 1 is very powerful, effective follow-up. So this is actually a whole different course I teach that I'm including in this program. And it shows you how to follow up without being annoying. You know, everyone knows that you need to follow up to get things done, you know, to get your job or to get the sale or whatever it is. So if you know you should be following up but you don't want to bother anyone, this video alone will be worth your investment in this program. Like it's a really nice way of following up. People are excited to hear from you. It's a really, really great approach, and you know, I've used it and my clients are using it as well. Bonus video number 2 looks in-depth at one-on-ones. I mentioned them earlier, and if you haven't heard of a one-on-one, then you're probably getting about 10% of the value out of all your business networking efforts. And in fact, when someone comes to me and they're considering, you know, quitting a networking group or quitting their chamber or whatever, I make them try this first. And when they use this process, they find so much hidden value in the other people in the group that you wouldn't be able to tear them away from the group ever again. So we show you how to pick the people, when to schedule it, where to schedule it, what to say, and how to follow up afterwards, just the whole process for doing one-on-ones. And any of you who are part of a networking group, you know, any kind of networking group, this is the most powerful and least understood technique for increasing referrals from that group, right? If you're part of a networking group, you owe it to yourself to watch this video and get really much better results out of any networking group. So video number 3 looks at what's missing from 99% of elevator pitches. It's what I stumbled on during that luncheon at Floor in Boston. Without knowing what I was doing, I used a very powerful call to action and got 6 customers. And so the elevator pitch is the first step in the networking process. The call to action is how you get people to the next step. But if you listen to 99% of elevator pitches, there's no next step, right? People stand up, say who they are, but there's no way to kind of connect with them. There's no kind of follow-up. And so this is where almost every elevator pitch falls short. And so we show you how to figure out who the right people are for you and what do you want them to do next. We show you a bunch of different techniques for, you know, getting people, you know, whether it's a newsletter or whether it's sending them a white paper. There's a whole bunches of techniques we talk about for, you know, staying in touch with people, you know, talking to people in a way that you can stay in touch. So step by step for inspiring people to approach you. And so, of course, all the worksheets are included, everything you need. I've gotten these worksheets. You just go through it step by step. It also includes these articles, the most popular ones I've written, you know, 3 signs that your elevator pitch is working. You know, a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people who are actually being more successful than they think because they don't know what success looks like. And so it's that one. And my 18-month-old taught me about staying focused. It's great. 18-month-olds are very focused. She's 4 now, but back when she was 18 months, it was really great. And so, you know, how to stand out in the crowd. There's tons of information here. What a stranger on the street taught me about the hidden value of my business network, and 7 compelling calls to action. You know, it's a great companion to the bonus video I just mentioned. And so a lot of you might say, well, you know, okay, elevator pitch, in-person networking, that's fine. But what about for online? Kind of what, you know, it's the 21st century now. What do we do online? And you're in serious luck because I did a program a while back, Mastering Your LinkedIn Profile. It's not usually included in the home study course itself. I sell it separately. But anyone who signs up, I'll send you a link to that training as well. It tells you, you know, it tells you how to get your LinkedIn profile set up in such a way that people can find you and you'll get work. And as a further thank you for being on the call today, I'm doing something I don't usually do. I'm just including, you know, if people who sign up today, a full half-hour of coaching with me. Again, that's a $250 value that I'll happy to do for anyone who wants to invest in their business networking success today. So another question I always get, is there a money-back guarantee for this? And yes, there is a money-back guarantee. I mean, I don't believe in actually asking for refunds for stuff that I buy myself because I find that it helps me apply it, you know, and I find that once I sit down and kind of apply it, I make back my investment. But what I have today is a 60-day money-back guarantee, 100% of your money back within 60 days if you do 3 things. You got to complete all the worksheets, you know, go through the trainings. You send me results from 3 networking events. You're going to attend 3 networking events over the next, you know, 2 months. That we would, you know, the strategy worksheet, just the strategy worksheet from the events that you go to. And you show me that you followed up, kind of again, nothing really happens at the event. You have to work on the follow-up. So send me the completed worksheets, proof that you attended 3 events, and your follow-up results. Still want your money back? You got it completely back. There's, you know, no other questions. But if you don't do all that, then, you know, there's no money back. I think that's fair. And I will tell you, I've never once had to refund this product. Not once. People take action. If you're committed to it and take action, you're going to get results. I can't say you get the same results as me or as what we talked about. I can't say you're going to make any kind of money. You can't make those kinds of claims. I can just show you what I've done and what plenty of other people have done through the system, and it's up to you to get the results. But again, you show me that you did the work and you're not happy with the results you're getting, then full refund. So here you go. Here's the recap of what you get. It's the core video modules. It's $350 value there just for those core trainings. The bonus video modules. It's not just about your elevator pitch. That's just the first step. These bonus videos show you how to use your elevator pitch so you'll get results. There's $150 value there. Then it's the worksheets to fill out. Just watching the trainings isn't enough. You have to create. You guys are doing a good job working with this stuff today. You create your own authentic, personalized elevator pitch that works in a networking situation. We show you that step by step, but you got to write it all down and work on it. So it's $99 for those. The articles, my motivational articles. Then the step-by-step master your LinkedIn profile. What should you put in your headline? What should you put in your summary? What's your call to action? Yeah, a strong call to action is missing from almost every profile online. So we'll show you 3 techniques for getting found and so much more. I usually charge $197 for that. Then there's the call with me, a $250 value. With this, it's like you're making money when you invest in yourself through the system. We can talk about your elevator pitch, or work on a networking strategy, figuring out which networking groups are more productive. We can go through one-on-ones, whatever it is you want to do, that's what we can do with that. Very cool. So the value I'm putting on this is just over $1,000. $1,046, and that gets you everything. And the value of that is way more. I charge $250 for half an hour, and you get over 6 hours of instruction plus the 30-minute live call plus the LinkedIn training. So if you want to get the advice from me by the hour, it'd be way more than $1,000 bucks. So today's price is $200. Well, actually, that's the original price. I usually sell this for $200. But since you guys are my most loyal followers and you're doing such a great job today and great action takers, and you see the value investing in this kind of information and advice, I'm going to set the price today at $97. So again, an incredible value for investment which you're getting, and for those who take action, you get some amazing results. And you already know if you're not happy, you get the 60-day money-back guarantee. Do the homework and show me that you attended a few events. So here's what I want you to do right now. I'm going to get into the Q&A in just a second, but I want to get you guys to the elevatorpitchathome.com. So go ahead over to just go, pull up a web browser, type in elevatorpitchathome.com, and you will see the home study course there. And there's going to be a buy button for $197. Again, that's no, you got to click on that to get the discount that we're talking about. And then so click on that, and then here's the really fun part. You have your own personal account. We got a membership area here on my website. You get full access to the members only area. You get instant full access to the members only area. And to do that, we just need you to have an account with us. And it helps keep track of what you're doing and helps keep you on target for learning this stuff. Got a lot of great stuff built into this. Now there are 2 ways of creating an account. That LinkedIn button there. We don't look at your LinkedIn. We can't see your contacts. We don't know anything. We don't know what your password is. We don't know anything. We just use LinkedIn. If you don't feel like creating another username and password that you have to kind of remember in your head, so you can just use your LinkedIn credentials to log into the site. Just a quick way of setting up your account. If you want to do it the more standard, kind of the more traditional way, just put in your name, email, and choose a password, and that'll get you all set up. Elevatorpitchathome.com, Lisa. So it's I'll go back to that for a second. So it's elevator pitch at home, right there in the middle. You can actually click on it. If you're on the screen now, you can actually click on that elevatorpitchathome.com on the screen, and that'll take you there. All right, so let me keep going here. So you go ahead and create your account, and again, that's what gives you instant access. And again, LinkedIn is just a shortcut. If you just know your LinkedIn credentials, and again, I can't see your password, I can't see your connections, I don't see any of that. We just use it as a way not to have to remember a different username and password. And so once you have the thing, then you're on the confirmation page. And do you have a coupon? You bet you do. So go ahead and click on that Have a Coupon button and type in webinar, all lowercase, one word. Type in webinar. That is the code that we're using for today's program. And I'm going to put in the chat the actual. So it's elevatorpitchathome.com. So for those of you who want to get on, it's elevatorpitchathome.com. So you go ahead and type in the webinar, then click on the apply button. and that takes you to that shows you the discount. That's what we're doing today. Full more than it's even more than a 50% discount. So only $97 today. And then once you click on checkout, then it's time to just pull out your credit card, put in the numbers right there, and take action right now. I really want to get you guys all this information to get to the bonuses and the LinkedIn training and the 30 minutes of coaching. So elevator pitch at home.com. Again, you can click on it right on that page. And for those of you who are interested in it, now that is great. And so you're going to go over there right now. Again, we've got about 15 minutes to do Q&A for the next 15 minutes and talk about it more. So you're getting all this information. Again, you're getting the bonus videos and the LinkedIn training core video modules, the business networking worksheet, getting everything you need how to get better results for your current networking events. Whether you're networking a little or a lot, whether you've been selling for years or just started, I can show you how to do it step by step. So I've gotten some great questions. So I kind of start with those. Some of you sent questions kind of as the reminder emails have some questions for you. So some of you send questions like that, and I'll kind of start with those. But if you have any questions as you're going through, feel free to send those in, and I'll get to those too. So I had a question. So the biggest networking challenge is being the presenter, the person standing at the front, whether it's just a gathering, get everyone's attention to a 3-minute elevator speech in front of the crowd. And so, yes, I mean, it's funny for me because I talk to people all the time and I work with people all the time who are nervous about giving their elevator pitch. They're not sure what to say. And so, if you say to someone, can you tell me about a recent success? Their eyes light up and they just start talking. And so really the working on that success case, like in the advanced training, the work that you do on creating that success and knowing exactly what the 4 sentences are that you're going to say in front of people, being prepared that way. In fact, I was talking to someone the other day who said, she said they go around the room and someone says something, it gets a laugh. Should I do that? Should I try to get a laugh? Or someone said something else, and you can, with this advanced training, you remove all of that. You know exactly what you want to say. Like the goal is not to get people to laugh. The goal is not to make a fool of yourself or be silly. The goal is to get people to come up to you with leads. And again, this process that we talk about helps you do that. And I find people become a lot less nervous when they know what they want to say and they know the kind of results they're going to get from what they want to say. So that's a good question. Again, if you have questions, feel free to type them in. I'm getting some private chats, and thank you for those who are sending me private stuff. That's good. Appreciate it. Congratulations to the folks that are signing up. I see a couple of things coming through. So good job to everyone. So another question I wanted to talk about. My biggest challenge is to just start talking to a bunch of people without it being a forced type of situation. You have to be just in a room with a whole bunch of people and go up and start talking to them is very uncomfortable. Right. I mean, that is a very uncomfortable thing, and what we've been working on today, and part of what the advanced training is about, is knowing exactly how that works. I mean, in fact, the three things we talked about today start a natural conversation. How's it going? Oh, awesome! I just got some new business networking stuff. Oh, business networking. What kinds of business networking do you do? Well, I help divorce people, negotiate their settlements. Oh, really? How do you do that? Well, I was just working with a couple that had a da-da-da, right? And what you've done now is give permit. You're in a conversation with someone who really wants to hear what you have to say, right? Rather than starting off with the 30-second elevator pitch, you've started a natural conversation from just something that from almost nothing, right? And that's really what's fun about it. And I mean, I'm an introvert. I've always been an introvert, and it took me, I don't want to minimize what people are doing because I know I got nervous about it. I had to psych myself up for every single networking event. And it does take some practice, but again, with these skills we're talking about and knowing that you're not looking for clients, right? I mean, you never expect to leave a networking event with a client. What you're looking for are some different things, and as you decide what you're looking at, that really helps. So good. I got some other chats. Oops, did not get promoted for the coupon. The transaction went through. Lisa, great. I'll work on that with you. Go ahead and start using it. I'll make sure you get your refund. Not a problem. Congratulations on joining the program. That's great. And again, sorry we didn't give you the coupon, but I'll be sure to get that coupon to you very quickly. Congratulations and welcome to the program. the so the using the coupon. Well, it's one of those things. Like I don't like to set expiring thing. I mean, we're doing this for 15 minutes, and the coupon will be available. I mean, the thing that really expires is the extra coaching call with me and the LinkedIn training. I mean, I'll honor the coupon for a little while. Although I will say that people who tend not to sign up today probably won't sign up, right? It's really kind of thing. If you're interested in doing it, then you do it. So the coupon's not exploding, and if you do decide a couple of days from now that you want to do it, you can get in touch with me, and we can work it out. But again, I find that people who are serious about it sign up today. But again, it's not an exploding offer or anything like that. I'll honor the coupon for a little while. And if you get out to the site and it won't take the coupon or anything, just shoot me an email and I'll work it out with you. So again, we're looking to. So that's we're kind of talking 15 more minutes here, and that's kind of where I'm looking for people to sign up. But again, I'm trying to help you guys with this. So so let's see. Other questions that are coming in. Sorry, my computer's trying to tell me something, trying to figure out what it is. But all right, another thing. So my biggest networking challenge is finding a way to stick in people's mind for future referrals. I get so many business cards and have so many conversations. By the time I organize my cards, I sometimes wonder, wait, what do these people do again? I would imagine that it happens to others as well. I want to make sure people remember exactly what I do, business consultant, this is the guy I talked about earlier, and make them feel more comfortable to call me or refer me to their clients. So how do I stay memorable? And again, the way that you stay memorable is by being specific, right? Like business consultant doesn't help me with what you're really going to help me with, but a business consultant that I still use to this day. I met him, and he helps you collect your accounts receivable. He helps you. He's a collection. They call themselves the good guys in the collection agency. He's a collection agency that really helps you bring in the cash. And he stuck in my. He said, I help you collect more of your money, and that really stuck in my head. He didn't say he was a business consultant. He said he helped me collect more of my money. And I called him 3 years later, right? I met him many years ago, and then 3 years later called him and wished that I had called him sooner. But when we talk about being memorable, it's really about finding that way. It's really about being specific, right? Helping people understand when it is they should call you, because the person you're standing in front of right now, it's probably not the right time for them for your stuff right now. The timing is everything. And so you really want to get into their head to call you at the right time, and the way we do that is specific. So that's again, if I encourage you to go back and review your notes about the specifics and the stuff you said for the how's it going, right? That you stay memorable by having really specific things that you say. Great. So again, if you have questions, feel free to type them in. I'll keep working through this. So I got another question. My biggest challenge is starting conversations. I tend to get a little shy in networking situations, so I'm trying to get past that. Yes, I mean, the thing that's been helpful for me, and again, the thing that you get with the advanced training is we show you exactly what to say in every situation. We've got scripts, and we've got ways of going through it, and exactly what you say, and if they say this, and a big question I get is what if they say nothing, right? And again, if they say nothing, then you move on. Like you can't start a conversation with them. So kind of knowing what that's about helps, and part of it is just practice, right? I mean, for me, I needed to go out and do this to make money. I didn't feel like moving back in with my parents, and so I don't know what motivation you guys have, but if what you're looking to do is to grow your business, then that's really what we're talking about. Like that's how we're going to do it. And again, I find that people tend to be shy because they're not sure what to say. And again, we talk about in the advanced trainings, we talk about how to approach people. You go to a networking event, it looks like everyone's in conversation. There are ways of knowing exactly, who you can talk to. There are good people to approach and people it's harder to approach. And so we talk through that in the advanced training, exactly who you want to approach and how to approach them and what do you say. And you find that when you know what to say, it becomes a lot easier to do it. It just becomes easier. So I got a couple more questions. Again, we don't seem to have any questions online, so let me do a couple more questions, and then we can do the drawing and kind of take it from there. So my biggest challenge is that I'm nervous when it comes to meeting new people to hand my business cards to. I don't know what to say to get them and take and keep the card. All right, well, I'll share a little secret with you about business cards. And that a lot of people confuse business cards with making connections And if you're out kind of collecting business cards, you feel like you've made connections, but you really haven't. And so I actually encourage people to throw out their business cards. Like if you've collected a lot of business cards at events and it's sitting on your desk, you just throw them out because I have a much better process for following up from a networking event than on the cards. And so the answer to the question is the way you get people to take your card is by being specific about what you do, by showing them how you can help them or the people that they know. And I have a policy: I never hand out my business cards unless someone asks for it. Like it's kind of the discipline I have for myself that I use my elevator pitch. I work on my elevator pitch such that the right people ask me for the card, and that's really helpful. And so unless someone else has a question, I'll work through the last question here. My biggest business networking challenge is booking appointments to demonstrate my interactive maps. I'm looking forward to learn how to do this more effectively. And again, I mean, I've worked with this guy a little bit before, and glad you're on the call today. Hope you're still on, Dan. And the booking appointments thing comes again. It all goes back to these specifics. Like when you talk about, he has interactive maps, but I don't really know for myself what an interactive map would help me with. But when he talks about kind of how it would help, kind of the kinds of people he's looking for and the ways people use these maps, it makes it much easier for people to talk to him. And again, I'll say that, whether you're looking for a job or your next client, the person you're talking to probably isn't the hiring manager, probably isn't the decision maker, but they know people who are, right? They might have heard of someone who's working in airline safety, right? They may have heard of someone who's going through a divorce, right? There are things that they may have heard of that would let you do that. So that's really the way that kind of thing works. And so if you're looking for appointments, and I always say to people, business networking, if you're out business networking and you run into a prospect, someone who really has an urgent and legitimate need for what you have, stop networking, set up a sales meeting, right? And that's really for me where business networking ends. Business networking ends when someone's really interested in what you have to offer. You set up a sales meeting. Stop networking with them. Set up a sales meeting. Talk to them, an interview or whatever it is. Take it into the sales process. And then you go back to networking with other people, right? The goal is to uncover these prospects, but most of the people won't be the prospect. Most of the people, one of the best things you can hear from your elevator pitch is, I have someone I want to introduce you to. There's someone you should meet, right? That is what forms all of this stuff. So that's exactly what we're talking about. Great. So. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's right. Networking. People confuse them all the time, and I know for myself, I confused them for a long time. I actually wouldn't set up a networking meeting with someone if I didn't understand how we could be clients of each other. But I ruled myself out of so many opportunities through that. So that's really what we're talking about. And so good. All right. So thank you all for still being on the call. If you have more questions, go ahead and type them in. But I'm gonna just give me a second. I'm gonna look back through kind of who's been doing their stuff and figure out who's the winner, and then we'll let you guys move on. So that is good. Let's see. So again, so we got a couple minutes left. You can sign up for the program as we have a couple minutes here. And again, I'll keep looking for. Great question from Shane here. I'll get back to you in a minute, Shane. Thanks for putting that question through. All right, great. So I'll answer Shane's question, and then we'll give then I'll say the winner of the thing, and then I can let you guys on your way. So you're mainly interested. So Shane's question is: are you mainly interested in building a relationship here, facilitating introductions to others, or are they mostly the same thing? Yeah, Shane, I'll suggest that they are exactly the same thing because you can't introduce people to people that you don't know, right? I mean, there's so many networking groups out there that you come into the group and you're expected to, give referrals immediately. Like they're like, okay, now start giving us referrals. And I find that hard because I like to build trust with people, and again, part of what we talk about in the advanced training is how to develop that trust. You know, what do you do? What do you do from kind of meeting someone at a networking event to the point that you're willing to kind of share your client list with each other? And it's a multiple step process. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that happens overnight. And so you are looking to build relationships. And once you have those relationships, as in the process of building those relationships, as you get to trust each other, you'll think of people that you want to refer to each other. So I believe they really go hand in hand. And when I think about networking, it is about building the relationship. I mean, if you're networking to get sales, it's backward. And you know, people shy away from those folks. You know, everyone kind of shies away from the folks that do that. Like there's, you know, you can spot those people from a mile away at the at the networking event. Like, ooh. So that's but yes. So it is all about the. I was wondering about the damage relationship you introduced. Yes, well, that's the thing. Like, I don't want, you know, I have a bunch of clients, and I do refer them into people that I know, right? I mean, I refer my clients into website developers. I mean, there's a lot of things my clients need, and so I do a lot of those referrals, and it absolutely hurts my reputation if they don't take good care of them. So a lot of the people that I refer to are people that I've either worked with or have worked next to or have watched work. And again, that's the kind of thing that happens over time. I mean, I actually took the guy who does my website work for me now, I took him to a ball game. Because I couldn't tell, like I'd met him, he was introduced to me through a kind of a mutual friend, and I met him, and he seemed nice and everything, and I was starting to look for a new website guy, but I just couldn't tell whether he really knew what he was talking about, so I invited him to go to the Red Sox game with me. And we went to the Red Sox. He didn't know. He seemed like a nice guy, and I figured I'd hang out with him, and over the course of the ball game, he convinced me that he knew what he was talking about, and I've been with him now for about 18 months, and I'm very happy, like he's done some great stuff for me. So yes, Shane, that's the whole thing you're talking about when we talk about this. You know, if you just refer people to people that you don't know, you could be damaging the relationship you have with them. So, and again, in the advanced training, we talk about how to build that trust, how you mutually build that trust, how you figure out who it is that you can depend on, how you figure out, who you can depend on and who will return your calls and all that kind of stuff. So it is a very important part of that. Great. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed working with all of you. I can't just narrow it down to one. So I'm actually offering three. I'll be offering 3 coaching calls for folks. And the people that I picked are Anna, Chris, and Shane. So congratulations, Anna, Chris, and Shane. And just go ahead and shoot me an email. My email's all over the emails you've been getting. So just go ahead and shoot me an email. We'll set up a 30-minute coaching call in the next week or so, whatever's good for you. We can talk about whatever you got on your mind. So excellent. Well, again, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate you being on the call. Thank you all who stayed to the very end. That is great. Again, not getting many more questions through. Lisa, yes, we can absolutely chat. If you go to my website, you can see my phone number. Call me in 15 minutes or so, and we can definitely chat. So thank you for that. And thank you for all the work you did on this. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. You know how to get in touch with me. I'm always happy to talk to people. So again, thanks for being on the call. Appreciate it. I appreciate your time and energy for being here. Thanks for being active and engaging, connecting, commenting. It means so much. It means so much. I thank you for your time. And if I can support you, just feel free to let me know, and we will take it from there. Okay. Happy networking, everyone. Go do some great stuff. Great working with you. Bye.